haunted houses have become famous, attracting people to go and have a ghostly experience. Some people have lived in these haunted houses, but they never really knew that the houses were haunted when they moved in. However, even with that, there are some houses that are too creepy, and they have even proved that ghosts are real. Today, we will look at some of the creepiest haunted houses on Earth that prove ghosts are real. Before we continue, ensure your lights are on, because it will get scary. The Whaley House Museum, San Diego, California. James Robinson, popularly known as Yankee Jim, was hung by his neck for the crime of grand theft, which occurred in 1852. A few years later, Thomas and Anna Whaley built a house in the same spot, where Robinson was hanged and died. It was not long until some weird things started happening in their new house. It all started with Yankee Jim's ghost appearing to haunt the entire site. Those who witnessed the haunting claimed that they could hear some footsteps stomping around the house. However, Yankee Jim's ghost is not the only one that haunts this place. It is said that both Mr. and Miss Whaley, a young girl, and even the family dog have been spotted coming from beyond the grave. According to Time, the house is so spooky that the U.S. Commerce Department officially classified the Whaley house as haunted. This was sometime in the 1960s. The house is open to guests who want to see the house, or even try to see if they can spot the ghost. House of Death, New York City, New York. You will find some of the most desirable real estate in the world in New York's Greenwich Village. Well, that is the case, apart from one brownstone found on West 10th Street. This townhouse, dubbed the House of Death, is said to be haunted by 22 ghosts. These ghosts are said to be of people who either lived or died within these walls, some of which include a 6-year-old girl who her adopted father killed. Given that the house is in New York City, it is no surprise that it also has a celebrity pedigree. It is said that author Mark Twain once lived in this house back in 1900. People claim that since he lived here, his spirit returns to the house for the occasional visit. Author Jan Bryant Bartell has documented the home's haunted history in a book called Spindrift 2 from a Psychic Sea. In this book, she recounts the experiences she had when she was living in the House of Death's top floor apartment. Sadly enough, for those of you who are already thinking about visiting this house, it is off limits, since the building still houses private apartments. However, this street is pretty famous for ghost tours. Old Parliament House, Canberra, Australia. It is said that the entire city of Canberra is a paranormal hotspot. This is the same as Savannah. However, most of the paranormal activity is said to be concentrated on the buildings that are in the Parliamentary Triangle. A great example of this is the Hotel Kurrajong. This 4-star hotel is said to house some serious A-list ghosts, and they have even been spotted roaming the hotel's halls. There have been reports that this hotel houses the ghost of former Prime Minister Ben Chifley, who died on the night of June 13, 1951, after he had a heart attack in room 214. The Canberra Times says that his ghost, who wears a grey suit, has been seen in that same room on occasion. Apart from that hotel is the Old Parliament House itself, which is said to be haunted. Most of the security guards and cleaning staff have reported hearing their names being whispered in the night. Carl Beck House, Canada. If you ask around in Ontario, you'll be told that this house in Pentequasheen is one of the most haunted houses around. It was built in the late 1800s by lumber magnate Carl Beck. According to legend, Beck lived in this house together with his entire family. However, after his wife passed away, the eldest daughter, Mary, was put in charge of raising the younger children. A couple of years later, Carl also passed away. In his will, he inexplicably left Mary $1. Today, there have been reports of an angry female ghost, which has been assumed to be the ghost of Mary, appearing in the upstairs windows. But let's face it, you would also be angry if all you got from an inheritance was $1. For travelers curious about the house's architecture and the side of paranormality, in this house you can rent the Beck house on Airbnb, which starts at $119 per night. Borgvattnet Haunted Vicarage, Sweden. This house was originally built in 1876, but weird happenings were not noted in this parsonage until the 1960s. Right now, the gray wooden structure serves as a bed and breakfast in a rural area in northern Sweden. It is said to mainly offer snowmobiling and fishing. There is nothing much about this house apart from its haunted nature. A lot of guests have claimed to hear footsteps, music, and even the sounds of 3 crying ladies coming from the inn. Given its haunted nature, the proprietors will reward you with a certificate that says you stayed throughout the night. Myrtles Plantation, Louisiana. The Myrtles Plantation is said to be one of the most haunted sites in America. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, legend has it that the house sits on top of an Indian burial ground. Not only that, but it is said to be home to at least 12 different spirits. Because of this, you can definitely expect such a place to have a lot of ghost stories. One of the most common ghost stories includes that of a formerly enslaved person named Chloe. It is said that Chloe had her ear chopped off after she was caught eavesdropping. She got her revenge by poisoning a birthday cake and killing 2 of the plantation owner's daughters. However, because of her actions, she was hung by her fellow slaves. The story goes that Chloe now walks around the plantation wearing a turban to hide the fact that her ear was cut off. The Sallie House, Atchison, Kansas. If you're a fan of ghost hunting shows, then you've probably seen this house in one of them. After all, it is one of America's most famous haunted houses. This house, which looks like very simple and beautiful, is said to be the home of a demon who takes the form of a little girl, stemming from a family's bizarre experiences there. In the early 1990s, Deborah and Tony Pickman rented this house, and shortly after renting it, they claimed to have seen a lot of strange occurrences in the house. Some include flickering lights, apparitions, possessions, unexplained voices, and strange scratches, marks, and burns on their bodies. All these occurrences are thought to have been the work of a ghost of a young girl known as Sallie. Before the Pickmans, another couple, Bobby and Colleen Humphrey, lived in this house along with their daughter Heather. They too claimed to have seen or even heard Sallie. Heather even claimed that this was her imaginary friend. Apparently, Sallie is not some harmless ghost. There have been theories about her malevolent presence in the house and evidence of satanic rituals in the basement. All these suggest that Sallie is in fact a demon that is disguised as a young girl. You can visit the house if you dare, or even stay for a special overnight visit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.